Hello, folks. Welcome to Jeremy Hadler's YouTube channel. I'm your host, Jeremy Hadler, and today we'll be still continuing with the GOAT series, and this is on right guards is what we continue with. We did left guards last time, so we're still continuing with the guards on the right side here. And we have our special guest, as always, doing our offensive line, Mr. Zachary Brazic.
That's right, people. I'm back to do right guards.
So we have Zach here, and we're going through, as always, on the GOAT series. We pick 5 players. We have an honorable mention, both the guest here. They have the option if they want to do a honorable mention or not. Zach has an honorable mention like he did last episode, so he'll be having another one this episode. That's the rule, a little bit of the rules there. And going with the rules of the GOAT series, it's not ranked whatsoever. It's based on their achievements and how they dominate the field and their impact towards that.
Hey, a rule is a rule. And let's face it, without rules, there's chaos.
And we'll see who's the Frank Gore's list, folks. Stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that. And make sure you leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. Please do so. We are 15 subs away from 250. 15. Let's get it. Ring that bell for notifications if you like it. Ring that
Come
bell.
on, people.
Let's start it off with, Zach, what is a right guard?
A right guard. Now, for those of you that watch a left guard, this is going to be a little boring. Some will go slightly faster. But a right guard on the classic 5-man offensive line is second from the right in between the center and right tackle. And obviously, their job, like all offensive line, is to block. The guards are very unusual with who they block because they really have to block a lot of different positions. Centers are usually blocking the big boys, the big Vince Wilforks. Your tackles, which we'll talk about next in GOAT series, your tackles are usually taking on those Von Millers, those really fast defensive ends, which is very tricky. Those guards, you got to sometimes get linebackers, sometimes even try to chase down cornerbacks. You got to take defensive linemen sometimes, especially when you're in a 4-3. You got to cover a lot of ground. You got to be smart. You have to have really good vision as a guard. With the guard, as always, the pull is huge. You got to be able to pull on the run block, get outside, or get inside to do a little blindside block. Very key for guards. Now, right guard is a weird position. Like, the whole right side of the offensive line is kind of weird because unless you have a left-handed quarterback, teams usually put their worst players on the right side. Not always, but mostly. So these right sides, the right side of the offensive line, it can be hard to find some GOATs, but we have some amazing players for you today.
Now, let's start off our honorable mention. Zach gets to start it off first. Who is your honorable mention?
Let me just pull up his stats again. Okay, now, I think, I could be wrong. I think this is so far the youngest player to make GOAT series. Maybe it's a tie, but it's at least pretty close. I'm just going with a guy that most people know. Good old Zach Martin. He has a great name, first of all. Zach Martin. Let's get to the stats. He's only played 9 years so far, all with the Dallas Cowboys, still playing. 8-time Pro Bowler, 6-time first-team All-Pro, 1-time second-team All-Pro. Was the 2014 Offensive Rookie of the Year runner-up. He only lost to Odell, people. That's the only person that beat him for Rookie of the Year. Fun fact about Zach Martin is he only has 7 career holds and 7 career false starts. I always like to say that because it's just a fun stat. It shows you have really good hands, you have really good control, especially with guards. If you grab a cornerback with one hand, you're going to get called for it every single time. So really nice to see guards with not many holds. Everyone knows, but no one really talks about them. Just an amazing bulldozer guard, can get outside, really good in pass protection. He is still going strong as ever, too, with his career.
Absolutely. Very consistent guy as I'm looking at his All-Pros from 2014 all the way to 2019. It was consecutive years. He made it either first team or second team, and he got it the 2021, 2022. He still made it there of the first team All-Pro still. So that's still impressed me. I mean, Zach Martin, he's been one of my favorite Cowboys to ever watch. Every time I see him, like, obviously, if you're going to look at Dak and Zeke when he was on the Cowboys at the time, Zach Martin was a guy that always stood out to me, and I always feared when my defense had to go up against, because I'm like, this guy is a very great offensive lineman. If you ask Dallas Cowboy fans, that was the one dude who would protect the line so much and be hard to sack either Tony Romo or Dak Prescott. Like, that was the thing you had to watch out for. Now let's move on to my honorable mention here. This guy is also recent here, but he retired a couple years ago. He played 12 seasons. The majority of his time was with the New Orleans Saints. And then his last year was with my team, the Green Bay Packers. That is Jari Evans. He's a one-time Super Bowl champion, won that with Drew Brees in 2009 Super Bowl. He's a 4 first-team All-Pro, again, impressive there. He's a 1 second-team All-Pro, made the Pro Bowl 6 times. He made a 2010 All-Decade team, made the All-Rookie team his rookie year, made the Saints 50th anniversary team, got inducted to the Saints Hall of Fame. He's not inducted to the NFL Hall of Fame yet. He's just a few years off, so he will be in soon. The thing that really stuck out to me was his technique. Every time when you watch him block, whether it was against all the great linebackers or defensive end players, always be watching out for, he would still get the job done. And that's the thing that really stuck out to me with Jari Evans. If him just doing that technique with the hands and like allow any disrupt in the pocket whatsoever for Drew Brees. So that's something that really stood out to me. Zach, do you have any thoughts on that?
Everything that you said is very true. Jari Evans, guard, very focused on using good hands and being really good pass protection. Most teams want guards who are most known for pulling, getting outside, but Jari Evans is like to stay inside more and pass block, which was very key for the Saints because they had Drew Brees, who was amazing. They wanted to pass a lot every game, and he also was short. So having that elite pass protection was really key. He was a player that I grew up with a lot. I was a guard and I love the pass block. So he's a guy I always watched film of during my days, and happy he snuck into the list.
Let's move on to our next player, which we'll start off our tie for Frank Gore because we have 2 guys that are tied for Frank Gore list here. This guy played 14 seasons with the Miami Dolphins. That is Larry Little. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. He's a 5 first-team All-Pro, 2-time second-team All-Pro. He made the Pro Bowl 5 times, made the 70s All-Decade team, made the Dolphins Honor Roll, which I don't know why it's basically the Ring of Honor, but that's what it is, and also the Walk of Fame. Again, it's the Ring of Honor, like inducted. That's what it is for normally, but Dolphins for some reason have their own way. That's what it is. I don't know why, but that's what it is. He's inducted to the NFL Hall of Fame. Watching the highlights and researching about him, very good at pass blocker, like as I mentioned with Jari Evans. The hands especially stood out to me. He's also being a great run blocker too with the scrimmage. He would help set like the interior line. Larry Zonka, the running back, he really helped him out at being successful. He rarely allowed his opponent to disrupt the pocket again, but he was very dependable too and great on the scrimmage. Very great. Zach, what did you think of him?
Yeah, Larry Little. Even though his last name is Little, there was nothing little about him. He was a big man who had very big and great impact on the field. The number one thing I always think of with Larry Little is he was part of that 72 Dolphins team who didn't win a single game, including the Super Bowl, which still has never happened. And he won back-to-back Super Bowls. Like you said, too, really good with pass blocking. You see that more with right guards than left guards. Left guards are usually guys who are just going to go destroy those linebackers. And we have that with some of the people coming up. But Larry Little just really liked to play inside because he was a bigger boy. Pass block, run block up the middle for Larry Zonka.
Let's move to our next player. That is Joe Delamere. Played 13 seasons with the Cleveland Browns and the Buffalo Bills. He's a 8 All-Pro. That's what I found. I couldn't find if it was first or second team. It just said All-Pro. I looked it up. 6 Pro Bowls. Made a 70s All-Decade team. Again, he's very durable and dependable when you need him. Again, like in the line scrimmage or when to play. He played 185 consecutive games during his 13 playing seasons. Very good with being a run blocker. Also forgot to mention, he made the Browns Ring of Honor and he made the Bills Wall of Fame and got inducted to the NFL Hall of Fame. Now, I'm mentioning a player with him in a bit here. Very good at pass blocking. Rarely allowed a mistake to happen in the pocket where the quarterback would be disrupted in there. He helped out this one famous player. Zach, do you know who that is?
Mr. O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson. He tried to get away on the highway. You can ask Cosmo Kramer about that.
As you can see, in a white Ford Bronco, the police have cleared the highway traffic in front of them, but they are keeping their distance. They don't want this situation to escalate. And we have gotten an identification on the driver of the vehicle. His name is Kramer. This is golfing.
911, what are you reporting?
Yeah, this is Kramer. I got Gendison in the car. Now he wants to see his fish. I'm taking him to see his fish. So tell the police to back off.
Okay, sir. And what's your name?
My name is Kramer. You know I am, damn it!
He helped O.J. Simpson become the first running back to rush over 2,000 rushing yards. Impressive to see that. Zach, what did you think about him?
Yeah, Joe DeLamielleure. First time we've had a Brown on the video for a little while, so I'm happy about that. First thing about Joe, it doesn't matter much, but he's just a really nice, humble guy. Just a really nice person. He only played like 5 years with the Browns, but he still made a huge impact, and he came back to Cleveland a lot to do events and things. It's a really great guy, and as you said, he never missed a game. He like missed a few snaps, but he never like missed a start. He helped OJ get 2,000 rushing yards, and another player he helped out is the only Browns quarterback to ever win MVP, Brian Sipe. Joe DeLamielleure helped him win the MVP in 1980. Brian Sipe in 1980 was like Tom Brady people. He was amazing, and Joe DeLamielleure really helped him out. And he was just amazing in the run game. The one word I think of with him is leverage. He liked to get low, just really get into those people, create holes, people. That's what you got to do. Shout out Joe. Let's go Browns.
Let's move on to our next player. This guy played 14 seasons, tied for the Frank Gore list. And for folks that don't know what the Frank Gore term means, as we already established, means the most seasons they've played at their position. Played 14 seasons with the Kansas City Chiefs. That is Will Shields. One-time Walter Payton Man of the Year award. Made first team All-Pro 3 times. Made the second team All-Pro 4 times. Made the Pro Bowl 12 times. Consistent, even though I don't like Pro Bowl, it's still a great accomplishment of consistency. Made the 2000s All-Decade team. Made the Chiefs Hall of Fame and got inducted to the NFL Hall of Fame. He never missed a game, which is the interesting fact about him. That stood out to me a bit. He still will get the job done no matter what. The technique is what fascinated me about, even if it's like some people call him a dirty player, which he wasn't. He was just doing his job the entire time. So Will Shields is a player that really stuck out to me that should be on this list and should get high praise because he's a player I don't think that gets recognized enough to this day. Zach, what do you think about him?
Yeah, Will Shields. It's funny. I already talked about how Larry Little's last name was nothing like Larry Little, but Will Shields, he truly was a shield for lots of Chiefs. Really good running backs like Priest Holmes, Larry Johnson. He was a little before Jamal Charles, I think, but just really helped have some amazing years with those running backs. He is, in my opinion, the best polling right guard ever. I'm not saying that makes him the best guard ever. We'll discuss that in a bit. But to me, he's the best polling right guard ever with how fast he was. He could run just as fast as cornerbacks. He's really the only guard I've seen on tape do that. And it's really pretty amazing. His longevity, amazing. And the one play I always look at with Will Shields, it was like a Sunday night game against the Ravens. And Will Shields just did a little inside pull towards the center and just demolished Ray Lewis, and Priest Holmes got one of the easiest touchdowns of his life because of that block. And he just did that night in, night out.
All right, let's move on to our next player here. This is Zach's favorite player, I will say, on this list here. This guy played 13 seasons with the Baltimore Ravens. That is Marshall Yanda, one-time Super Bowl champion. That was, as most Raven fans like to say, January Joe. Made the first team All-Pro 2 times, 5 times second team All-Pro. Impressive to see that. 8 Pro Bowls, as I mentioned, that consistency. Made the 2010 All-Decade team, made the All-Rookie team. He was the leader of that Ravens offense, in my opinion, that really stood out. When you needed players to step up, he would get in your face and tell you to get it going, and he'd just be riding that, whether it was with Joe Flacco, a little bit of Lamar Jackson towards his late end of the career. Very strong player, and the technique is what stood out to me the most. In my opinion, he's the best technique out of this. I mean, I know Zach said about other guys who have better techniques, but to me, this guy has the best technique. Whether it was Aaron Donald, again, or the other ones, this is the thing that's stuck with me. No matter how good defense players or how bad they were, he still get the job done, even if he's overpowered. He was a little undersized to me, but still, very strong player. Very strong player. What do you think about him?
Yeah, Marshall Yanda, this is going to hurt for me to talk about because there's no team I hated more than Joe Flacco Ravens teams, but I'll try. Like you said, I mean, Marshall Yanda really is the definition of technique as a guard, or at least top 2, top 3, because he just never had a bad game. Never. It didn't matter who he was facing. He just pushed them all off like it was nothing. I mean, people say that you can't really build an offense around a guard, but he was someone where you really could. And it's really true. He never took a play off. I hate the guy, but the one good thing I can say about him is he used to be so good in Madden Mobile. Everyone needed Marshall Yanda on their Madden Mobile team because he always was the best right guard, and it makes sense why.
Every time I play Madden Mobile or I play Madden on my Xbox, I always trade for him. Like, that guy is gonna save my butt on offense. That was the guy I wanted. So I would do it and help my team out so much in Madden Mobile. Good old days of Madden Mobile. Very good player here, Marshall Yanda. Very good player. Let's move on to our last player here before we get to pick our ultimate GOAT for the greatest right guard of all time. This guy played 11 seasons with my team, the Green Bay Packers. That is Jerry Kramer. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion, 5-time NFL champion. He was with the Lombardi era that had been before the Super Bowl, so that's why some championships and some afterwards. He made the first team All-Pro 5 times, made the second team All-Pro 2 times, made the Pro Bowl 3 times, made the 60s All-Decade team, made the 50th anniversary team, made the Packers Hall of Fame, made the NFL Hall of Fame, which he should have been on there way earlier, ladies and gentlemen. He should have been on there way earlier, in my opinion. Interesting fact about him. He has 2 character names in my favorite TV show, Jerry Seinfeld and Cosmo Kramer. Seinfeld, baby. That's the one thing I love about him there.
Chinese food. If you want anything, let me know what it is, and I'll order it for you.
What stood out to me the most with him, the agility, the speed. He could run down the field. Polling is what he was very good at. And I'm going to say this. I know Zach said this in the last episode. This guy is the best poll person on this list here, in my opinion. Very good, like, of going to the bulldoze here, like the push. The polling is what really stuck out to me, especially that Packers jet sweep, which is what he was mainly a part of. And you watch it with Lombardi going on that chalkboard and doing it again, and you watch the highlights of it. Very good the polling on that play and all of the other plays he played in his career. That's the thing that stuck out to me. What do you think of him, Zach?
Yeah, Jerry Kramer. One thing I realized today is his right guards have the best names. You got Will Shields, you got Joe Delamolier, you have Kramer, you have Larry Little, even though he was a huge right guards have the best names. I love it. But anyway, let's giddy up here and talk about Jerry Kramer. He is the true OG of OG. And what I mean by that is he's the true original gangsta of offensive guards. I would probably say Will Shields is a little better polar, but I don't hate the take. But he really was amazing with Vince Lombardi. No one ever liked polling and sweeping more than Vince Lombardi, and no one ever hammered it into his player's head more than him about how important it was. And a team that loves a poll, you need a great guard. I know we already talked about Jim Ringo, and he was very important too, but Jerry Kramer, in my opinion, was even more, just because of how quick he could get to the outside and take out blockers. Really amazing player. I don't know why he didn't make the Hall of Fame for so long.
That's what I'm saying. He should have made it.
It is kind of weird, but he's there now at least, and a nice name to wrap up our list.
Yeah, because in that 50th anniversary team in the NFL, he was the only player to not be in the Hall of Fame, and everyone else made it, which is something I don't understand how he wasn't in the Hall of Fame during that time. That's what annoyed me so much. Another game he's known for, the Ice Bowl, which most people should know about the Ice Bowl. Right towards the end of the game, where Bart Starr sneaks it in to win the game, win the championship for the Packers against the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Kramer made the key block on that to help clinch the game for the Packers. When Jerry Kramer, a lot of people say he was offsides in that game. A lot of people say that. He was not. He was not. Went right up to the gut of that defender and punched it in. Like Jason Kelce a couple episodes ago, where they used the QB sneak with Jalen Hurts and everything. That is what Jerry Kramer did. Of like, he punched it, even though he wasn't the center, he made the hole open and punched it in, helped Bart Starr get in. Another interesting fact about Jerry Kramer, he was the kicker for the Green Bay Packers in the 62, 63, and part of the 68 season for the Packers. Kicked the game-winning field goal in the 1962 NFL Championship against the New York Giants, a 16-7 victory. And his nickname as the kicker was the best knuckleball kicker in the NFL, apparently. So that's a thing that stuck out to me, is he wasn't just a guard, he was also a kicker. I know we're talking about they're known for their position, but I'm just pointing that out. That's an interesting fact about.
Very fun fact.
Let us choose our GOAT here. Zach, we'll start off you as our guest of honor. You get to choose first.
This was a hard one. Now everyone here is great, but in my opinion, really it comes down to Will Shields and Mr. Kramer. This was a really, really hard one. And I know I said like Will Shields is the best pulling guard ever, but I'm not like passionate about Will Shields. I can't lie. There's some players I'm passionate about. Will Shields isn't really one of them. So to please the fans, to please Jeremy, we can finally agree on a GOAT, I think, today. I am going to take Jerry Kramer.
Yeah.
He was the foundation for the position. In my opinion, he was the most important player on that Packers O-line. One of the most disrespected throughout history, honestly.
Thank you.
And I love special teams, so I like how he was a kicker too, even though that doesn't matter. I didn't pick him because of that, but it's still fun. What an athlete. And yeah, I usually don't pick really old players, but I'm taking Jerry Kramer today.
Guys, I think we already know what Michael's pick's going to be. It's Jerry Kramer. We all knew that, guys. Come on. Okay. The pinnacle and the focus point of that Packers offense line was on him. Now, I mentioned Jim Ringo was a part of that last episode, but Jerry Kramer helped define that jet sweep run. Everything he needed to see out of him, of how to perform as a right guard, that's the thing that stuck out to me the most. Will Shields, he was good with the technique, especially with him. That's what stood out to me. But with Jerry Kramer, he would get the job done. Now, I'm not picking him because he's just a Packer, ladies and gentlemen. Not being biased here, but it's because of the technique, the bulldoze, best pull, in my opinion. I know Zach said Will Shields, but the agility, the speed, everything you would want out of a right guard, he'd get the job done, and he punched it through to help his team out. That's what really stuck out to me. So I got to have Jerry Kramer here. The disrespect he got, that is disgrace. That is a disgrace. He should be in that Hall of Fame way earlier than most people give him credit for. Amazing player, should have been there earlier. And right guards, they deserve more appreciation. Look at the names here. We got funny names here, as Zach mentioned. That's what we got out here. That is our take here. We've decided for once that Jerry Kramer is our ultimate GOATs. We've had 3 correct. We had Patrick Manley.
I think I need to make an announcement. I've wanted to make this, but I didn't know when, so I'm just going to say it now.
Okay.
I would like to officially change what I said in the first episode of GOAT series. I would like Ray Guy to go down as the ultimate punter, because the one thing I didn't think about that day was also just how, like, back then, like, they didn't have special balls for punting. They didn't have special shoes.
Yep.
So, and I love the guy, so it's Ray Guy.
All right, so now what is that for us? Now we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 we got now. We got 4 times we've agreed on this list here. But folks, yeah, that is our list here for our right guard. Make sure you leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you're not done so already. Do me a favor, hit that notification if you want more videos. Hit that subscribe button right now. It is not going to hurt you whatsoever. If you want more content, just click on that. Click on that right now. It's not going to hurt you. I promise you that. It's not going to hurt you. But before we head out, let's give a big, warm clap of hands here for our special guest, Zach.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we have that. And moving on to our next episode, we'll be doing the right tackles, and then we go into the blind side, which a lot of people love Blind Side. You can go check that movie out. It's a great movie. But anyway, yeah, it's a great movie. We appreciate you watching this video. Stay tuned for more videos. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next time.
Peace.